Hello, everyone. My name is Seth, and today I want to talk about some plot twists. Plot twists. Everybody knows them. Some people love them. Some people hate them. There are good ones. There are bad ones. There is a wide variety of plot twists in a ton of different genres. And in this video, I just wanted to kind of take a look at a few different plot twists from different genres that I think are pretty impactful, ones that I like, ones that have just been in pop culture. So this isn't going to be a comprehensive list of the top plot twists ever. This is just going to be a few that have come to my mind. So just a heads up, I am going to be talking about the plot twists of some movies. I will list them on the screen down below. So you know, if you haven't seen these, go ahead and see it. You can pause this video, save it to your watch later, and then come back after you've seen those movies. But just right off the bat, there is going to be spoilers for some of these films today. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. We are on the road to 300 subscribers, so if you're new here, you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It's absolutely free, and it would make my day. If you are subscribed, share my videos with a friend, a family member, or whoever. So the first plot twist I wanted to talk about is one that is kind of ingrained in pop culture. At this point, pretty much everyone knows about this plot twist, and it's from the movie Psycho. So because almost everybody knows what this twist actually is, then you kind of think, well, this isn't really even a twist. Well, you got to think about it in the context of the time. We start off by following Marion Crane as she's stealing money from her work and she is escaping. She's on the run and she finds herself at this kind of run-down motel operated by Norman Bates. And most people know where it goes from here. You have the iconic shower scene, and her disappearance leads to her sister and her boyfriend coming to look for her. And I would say that's one of the twists of the film, is that Marion Crane, who's played by Janet Leigh, is a big star at the time, was killed halfway through the movie. Everybody thought it was going to be focused on her the whole time. And so that was part of the plot twist. That's a big deal. But another plot twist is Norman Bates is constantly talking about his mother. You hear them kind of having conversations back and forth. But eventually the investigation leads towards them thinking that it's Mrs. Bates being the murderer. But it's revealed that she was actually killed years earlier. And now she is kind of this like alternate personality for Norman, who dresses up as her and kills his victims. I think that is one of the biggest plot twists of all time. And even though it's so ingrained in pop culture and media, everybody knows it. You might not think of it as a plot twist, but you, again, like I said, you got to think of it in the time that it came out. And that was a massive plot twist. The next film I want to talk about, the plot twist, it's another one that a lot of people probably know of, especially at this point. And it is Planet of the Apes from 1968, starring Charlton Heston. So this film follows the crew of a spaceship after they crash land on this planet that is ruled by humanoid apes. Apes that are intelligent, they ride horses, they talk like humans do. And so this whole film, we are led to believe that they have crash landed on this alien planet, and there's just this alien world where apes are in charge. But the plot twist in this comes in the final minutes of the film, and everybody knows this classic shot. We have our leads, they are riding up on the beach, and they find the remains of what was the Statue of Liberty, and that reveals that this is not an alien planet. They have crash landed back on Earth after a nuclear war that ended up leaving this incredibly intelligent species of apes in charge. Again, this is another plot twist that is pretty much ingrained in pop culture. There's been a lot of parodies of it with some of the new Planet of the Apes films with Andy Serkis, a couple of which were directed by Matt Reeves. And we just had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes come out earlier this year. I'm very interested to see them eventually make a film get back to what that original Planet of the Apes film was. It was very interesting that all of these new Planet of the Apes films seems like they're kind of leading up to the events of this film, and some of these last shots from Planet of the Apes is just absolutely iconic. The next twist I want to talk about is from the film The Prestige. The Prestige is probably one of my favorite films of all time. The cast is incredible. It stars Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, Andy Serkis, David Bowie, Rebecca Hall. There's a ton of great actors in this, and is directed by Christopher Nolan. The Prestige is actually based off of a book by the same name. And the film follows two magicians played by Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. And throughout this whole film, they're constantly trying to one-up each other with their magic tricks. And it gets to a point where not only do they try to outdo each other, they try to mess with each other, to sabotage each other, especially after Christian Bale's character accidentally kills Hugh Jackman's character's wife in a magic trick that just went wrong. Eventually in the film, Christian Bale's character becomes famous for a trick called the Transported Man, where he goes into a box and then he appears across the stage in another box, and Hugh Jackman just can't figure out how it was done. But then eventually he goes to Nikola Tesla, and they together find out a way for him to have a trick called the real Transported Man. And that leads to Christian Bale trying to figure out how Hugh Jackman did it. And so eventually he finds out that Hugh Jackman is using a cloning machine from Nikola Tesla. And so every time he does this trick, he's actually cloning himself. At one point in the film, Hugh Jackman disappears, leaving a dead clone. Annie has Christian Bale kind of framed as the prime suspect for the murder. Christian Bale's character is then caught and he is executed for his crimes. And Hugh Jackman takes his daughter as his own. But then it is revealed that the way that Christian Bale's character did his trick is that he has a twin. And the twins kind of shared this one life together as this famous magician. And then the surviving twin ends up killing Hugh Jackman's character and taking back his daughter. There's just so much that goes into this film. Like, it just builds and builds and builds. And, you know, kind of the twist of, hey, you know what? Clones. That's a big one. And then the other twist of, hey, the reason why he could do this is because he has a twin. It's kind of like the simplest explanation for it. So I think that's a great twist. And plus, you have Christopher Nolan doing everything that makes him such a great director in this film. And that leads to it being one of my favorite movies of all time. The next film I want to talk about is Knives Out. And Knives Out is kind of a whodunit mystery movie. And so you might would expect that there would be some twists and turns in this. And I think Knives Out is such a clever film, and it definitely plays with your expectations. And so I think that's part of the reason that the twist ends up working. So if you don't know anything about this film, this follows Harlan Thrombey, who is a mystery novelist. It also follows his family and his nurse. And his nurse is supposedly the last person to have seen him alive. And so early on in the film, the audience is kind of led to believe that Harlan's nurse, Marta, accidentally gave him the wrong medication. And all that leads to Harlan taking his own life and leaving his whole estate to Marta. But that leads to the twist where Harlan's grandson, who is actually played by Chris Evans, and he does a fantastic job, he ends up switching the medications because he hopes to frame Marta. But this whole film is full of twists and turns, as you might would expect with a murder mystery. And everything is just so good. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. The year came out. I love going back and just watching it. I've seen it multiple times at this point. All of the performances are amazing. The writing is so good. The direction is so good. Both of those are done by Rian Johnson. And I think one of my biggest compliments I could give the film is that it doesn't just think it's clever like some films do. Some films just, they think they're clever. This film actually is clever. It's very fun. It's very entertaining. So if you have not seen it, first of all, I'm sorry things are spoiled for you. But second of all, it is still worth seeing. And the last twist I want to talk about is another one that's kind of ingrained in pop culture. Everybody knows it. I'm pretty sure I knew the twist even before I saw the movies. And that is in The Empire Strikes Back, with Darth Vader telling Luke that he is Luke's father. Again, everybody knows at this point that Darth Vader is Luke's father. That's really doesn't seem to be any kind of a twist at this point. But think of it back then. You had just watched Star Wars in 1977. You have this farm boy coming from this middle of nowhere planet who lived with his aunt and uncle. You got his mentor figure, Obi-Wan, telling him that his father was killed by Darth Vader. And then imagine everybody's surprise in 1980 when they go to the movie theater toward the end of the film where he says, "Nope, I didn't kill your father. I am your father." Like, just try to think for a second. Just forget, put it out of your mind that you know that twist inside and out, that everybody on earth knows that. You never, ever would have seen that coming. And I know some people, when they talk about the best twists of all time, you know, they talk about something like The Sixth Sense. There's things like that. But if you were to ask me what I thought the best twist of all time is, it's got to be this in Empire Strikes Back. Of course, I love Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is, depending on the day you ask me, maybe my favorite Star Wars movie. It's one of the best movies of all time. And that twist is honestly one of the most effective plot twists I think I've ever seen. But that's it. Those are 5 films where I just wanted to talk about the plot twist for a little bit. Have you seen these films? Let me know what you thought about them in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought about the plot twists in the comments, and keep the conversation going. Leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite plot twist of all time is. Is there one that I didn't cover? If you want me to talk about a few more plot twists, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.